We are one win away from etching our name into a selective group of back-to-back Super Bowl winners. And facing the Houston Texans, both these teams look to cap it off with a big win in Atlanta. And both these teams bring top-tier talent. Cameron Skattebo. There is not enough we can say about the impact he has had on this team, breaking several records this year. And for the coach and the offensive coordinator who want to give him something special, nothing more can be given than a Super Bowl ring and a Lombardi trophy. Though, there is one player who's going to look to stuff him for the Houston Texans, the tackle leader in Azeez Al-Shaair with 164 tackles. But none of these guys would make the Pro Bowl this year. Heading to the Super Bowl, they have their eyes set on much bigger horizons, but still a lot of great years for all these players, and one player in particular, Damian Dragan, the rookie Sam linebacker, formerly a player of Coach Bearington at Stanford, a transfer in from Washington. He got banged up, missed the national championship. Though being drafted as a 7th round selection, he has come a long way as a rookie. Unfortunately, one of Coach Bearington's other former players in Daniel Kramer will not be playing today for the Texans, currently listed on IR. But there is not much more to be said. It comes down to this game. New York Giants, Houston Texans, one Lombardi trophy. The Giants would love to bring it back to New York, going back to back. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans would love a Super Bowl win, one of 4 remaining NFL teams to have never been to a Super Bowl. That ends today. Can they claim their first Lombardi? It'll all be decided in 4 quarters of play as we are underway. In Atlanta, Georgia, the Super Bowl begins with a Hoffman return right up the middle to the 28-yard line, where Jackson Dart and a very heavy New York Giants offense takes the field. And we all know the storyline we have seen with this team the whole year has been the game of Cameron Skattebo. That's where they begin, right down the middle. Now, we did talk earlier about how Daniel Kramer is out this game. Well, Houston Texans, they are supporting yet another key player, Jason Blair, big number 99, the nose tackle. Another former player here of Coach Bearington as that ball popped away. Now, in the last matchup between these two teams, we did not see Blair make a whole lot of plays. We'll see if that changes today. With almost a full season under his belt as a starter for this Houston Texans defense, we'll see if they can match up against all the different weapons here of the New York Giants offense. They've even started to get their tight end Johnson a bit more involved. Big hit, though, in the backfield. That ball is free. Diving on top of it is Tafoya, the rookie here for Coach Bearington in the NFL. Dart seems to think he was down, though it's actually going to be a better spot if he wasn't. There is no review. And at about the 45-yard line, the offense stays on the field. Blair moves early. This should be a free play. Getting to the outside here, Dart will just look to keep it, picking up some blocks, and eventually Blair, who had that penalty being called on him, does get the tackle. Coach Bearington, though, will decline that penalty on his former college player, taking the yardage and the first down to the 45-yard line. Tracy Jr. is going to check in here. A little bit of some RPO, bounces to the outside. He's got about a gain of 4, coming off a really big previous matchup. No longer a starter, but several huge plays in the NFC title game. So they do get Skattebo back out there, facing an 8-man box here. And play action. Rolling to the outside, and Dart dumps this one to Fedoni. A little high for a dump, but it does nearly convert the first down. They do mark it 3rd and inches as both teams come out in a heavy set. Cameron Skattebo is the man, and he takes a big shot in the backfield. Now, this offense already has gone for it once, wouldn't put it by him to go for it again. It does look like that is the plan with two hands down in the backfield. Texans, everyone down towards the line of scrimmage here. It's Scatterboo with the turnover on downs. Chased down from behind by Will Anderson Jr. A risky call to say the least from Coach Bearington. Though Graham Gano has been rather hit or miss this year, a little flirty when it comes to the upright and the crossbar. So instead, no points. Over to the Texans, and Mixon chased down by Bobby Okereke. There's a lot of expectations. This will be Okereke's last game in a New York Giants uniform. See if he can end on top as he's involved again. Collins over the middle, good enough to pick up about 4 more yards. A 3rd and 1 awaits as they do look to go to the run game, and Bobby with 3 straight plays for the New York Giants. We haven't seen him play like that all season long, but it does get the ball back over to his offense. So turnover on downs does not come back to bite the New York Giants. They start at the 21. We just have a loss of time and a sack, loss of yardage. Toronto sent on the blitz, and I don't think anyone got a hand on him. So now back inside the 15. It is a long 2nd down here to Cameron Scatterboo. Al Shire brings him down. We'll at least pick up a decent chunk there, but a 3rd and 12 still awaits here. A heavy set remains. They will throw behind Neighbors. Defense locking things down. We've all heard the football age-old saying, defense wins championships. Well, right now, both defenses are putting their best foot forward. Texans ball, a better field position for him this time. Checking to the flat here, and Mixon steps out following a short gain. Of course, we've all seen over Mixon's time in the NFL, a dual threat, both on the ground and through the air. Expect Stroud to see him quite often. Stroud leaking out, though, runs right into Bobby. That ball, though, popped free and recovered by Banks. Abdul Carter forcing that fumble. And it's the number 51 for both defenses, making big plays here early on. That'll be a turnover. That's also why sometimes trying to fight for that extra yards really can be costly. Giants ball at the 48-yard line plus side. I form, they'll go with some play action. Thrown towards the sideline, Fedoni. Not gonna see a better 8-yard grab than that. Toe drags and all. And now, looks like he's gonna be involved in a block here. Cameron Scatterboo will have it. Took a second effort, but it gets the job done. And at this point in the season, Super Bowl, that's all you got to do here. You don't need flashy plays. You just got to make sure you get it done. Floated back outside. Fedoni, though, this time not going to get away from Al Shire. Leading tackler in the NFL makes another key stop. The loss of 4 back at the 41. Dart stepping up, had a target over the middle. He will take the safe option diving forward. We'll see if the Giants get one more play off here to close out the first quarter. 3rd and 4. Scatterboo does motion out. They will go his way in the flat. He cuts back inside. 1st down by Stingley to the 20-yard line. And the first quarter of the Super Bowl here in Atlanta, Georgia comes to a close with the scoreboard still blank. 0-0. It's been all defense here early on. Giants driving down the field. Their most successful drive up to this point. And I'm sure all of us wants to see some amount of scoring happening here soon. So as we get the second quarter underway, it's a red zone trip for the New York Giants. Johnson going to go in motion over to the left-hand side. Play action. Dart flips the hips. He looks to get out in space, pick up a block, and then gets dropped. Another monstrous hit. Al Shire to the 12. It's a gain of about 8 there for Dart. And there's Scatterboo down the middle, taken down by the safety. And an injury here to Douglas. That could be a big blow to the secondary of the Houston Texans. And a sight that no one wants to see, especially in the Super Bowl, heading to the tunnel. His day might just be done. It does leave a 1st and goal, though, for the Giants. Outside, Theo Johnson just gets that rock inside the pylon. before stepping out of bounds. The first touchdown of your Super Bowl goes to Theo Johnson. Led this Giants team in receiving last year. Bit of a quieter year this year, but turned it on when it mattered the most. Giants claim the first lead of the Super Bowl as Dart hooks up with his tight end. Went even nicer there for Theo Johnson. He tossed that ball into the crowd. Stroud, he'll love an opportunity to do that, leading his offense onto the field, trailing by 7. They look to go to the air here out the gate. Passes downfield, finding Collins just by Carter, the traded for linebacker. He very well could be the future of this linebacker core next to Sanders. Going to see a bit of him in this game, especially in the 4-3 and base packages. Mixon on the following carry, and there's a play. Abdul Carter. He popped that ball out of Stroud's hands on their previous possession down around this point of the field. Good stop there. It's a loss of 2 on Mixon. And play action to the flat. They will find Schultz taken out about the 34. That's another Stanford man here in this Super Bowl game, though was there prior to Coach Bearington. 3rd and 4. Well short intended for Collins. Not going to see an easier play to cover there. Drew Phillips. And out comes Fairbairn. About a 51-yarder. True down the center. Houston is on the board as they kick it off now 7-3. Returning this from about the 4. That's going to be Hoffman. Opens up down the middle for him. Some speed, but couldn't get by the last man, Etrie. But can't complain about starting in front of your own 40-yard line. The 43 is where they mark him down, and Dart can't keep his feet. Daniil Hunter with the sack. Houston has been getting after Dart early and often in this one. 2nd and now 17, bunch right-hand side. Theo Johnson, though, quickly finds some space. Dart will hook up with him for the first down. Al Shire bumping him out at the 46-yard line. He is just all over the field here for this Texans defense. Letting this one develop, and Dart doesn't see anything. He looks to bounce, picking up 9.5. Not quite enough there for the first down, they will say, though it looked like he had it from up in the booth. High formation here, and that's Scattaboo with about a gain of 2. And another injury here for the defense of the Houston Texans. This one doesn't seem to be as severe, but Ed Oliver will make his way to the sideline. As for Rasul Douglas, who left this game earlier, his day, in fact, is done. Really unfortunate for the secondary here, the Houston Texans, trying to claim their first Super Bowl win, and Dart just got destroyed. Anderson with yet another massive hit on Jackson Dart. And he's lined up against the Giants' best offensive lineman in Andrew Thomas. Bringing the heat this time, they go out to the running back on the screen, and he'll pick up at least half the yardage there. Dart once again peeling himself off the turf. We all know Jackson Dart and Scattaboo, basically the Bash Bros here in the NFL. And he's going to get taken down yet again. Returning to the game, Oliver with the sack back to the 41. That really leaves some massive question marks around this offensive line here today. Now, Coach Bearington does call the timeout prior to the 4th and 16, which the offense stays on the field here. And jumping off sides, Jason Blair. Back at his time with Stanford, he was not as undisciplined as we've seen in the couple games between these two. But that sets up a field goal attempt here. Graham Gano, and he had that one no problem. Not sure he needed the extra 5 yards, but it definitely helps out. Tack on 3. And with just inside 3 minutes to play here, it sends out the Houston Texans offense. They've put together some decent drives. They just haven't finished those drives. Trailing here 10-3, and they make something happen. Passes to the flat and not going to get far. Gain of 3. Banks pretty tight in coverage there. Did get a little bit of help to bring him down. Of course, he was not a starter last time. This team was in the Super Bowl last year, but he played very well this year. Coach very happy, and I'm sure Texans got to be happy about this screen. Once again, Joe Mixon shows why he is such a threat in open space. First down here for Houston. Going back to the air and over the middle. That's caught. Looked like Bobby Okereke tripping as he tried to step down to break up that one. taking us inside 2 minutes to play here in the first half. It's a 2nd and 4, the 43. And throws again out to the flat. Schultz turns up, first down. However, he was unable to get away fully from Bobby Okereke. Back to the flat, another short gain. A little bit of some dink and dunk action here for Stroud, though following, it's an empty set here. Looking to expand the field and somehow not picked off Newman. Great break on that one. Collins does his best DB impersonation there to ensure that ball hits the turf. Leaving a 3rd and 7 here. Around midfield, passes underneath, Mixon slips the tackle, and he's still running down to about the 26-yard line. Texans putting together their best offensive drive yet, but they've got to finish. It's another quick pass, Dell 4. You're going to see a whole lot of the quick passing from Stroud. It's their best way of taking out all the defensive linemen here for the New York Giants. And getting to the outside, Goodrich couldn't keep his feet. Stepping out of bounds. They mark him out at the 12. Does stop that clock. 48 seconds to work with here. All timeouts for the Houston Texans. It's Mixon taken down open field. No gain. And the first timeout called there. New York Giants, the favored team heading into this game. They're looking for a red zone stand here. Force a field goal. Hold on to that lead before halftime. Stroud looking to go back to the air here, or scrambling around, and doesn't want anything to do with Bobby Okereke. And does, however, force their 2nd timeout to be called. They'll have one more remaining. Down at the 11, and now an empty set as Mixon motions out here. Stroud has an option over the middle, doesn't like it. This time he gets by Bobby and every other defender in the center of the field. C.J. Stroud uses his legs and ties this game up. Around 30 seconds left here in the first half. With that tying score there from Houston, we send this to the break. 10-10 in a good battle back and forth. It started with the defense. The offenses came alive there in the second quarter, though we still find ourselves in a gridlock game. 10 apiece. One of these teams is going to have to find a way to separate and pick up that win, taking home the Lombardi. Giants looking to go back to back. Meanwhile, Houston looking for their first ever Super Bowl win. And as we look to get things back underway here in Atlanta, Georgia, it will be Houston ball. They start at the 28-yard line. Looking to go to number 28, who has had a tremendous impact for their offense in this one. He's seemingly picking up right where he left off with a gash of 7 on the opening play here of the second half. Nearly should have been a penalty. Instead, a gain of about 1 there for Mixon. For the Giants, that does leave them an opportunity to get off the field here. 3rd and 2 of the 36. It's a split backfield. He'll look to throw left side. He finds Collins. Oh, that ball gets popped out. It's quickly recovered. Drew Sanders. If this play stands, it's another forced fumble scooped up by the Giants. But I'm not sure if Collins had that knee down or not. And while the boys are celebrating down in the end zone, the booth is calling for a review. So we will take one more look at this one to see if indeed that is a true fumble. Left knee and left hip down by the time it looks to see that ball come free. But for the Giants, the ball is taken away from them and returned to Houston. First down at the 42. Mixon gonna have a little short motion, a little shuffle to the outside. Throwing downfield, Paulson Adebo beat, and there goes Collins, who thought he just fumbled the possession away. The very next play following the reversal, he goes to the end zone. They used Mixon to just suck down some of those defenders. Collins, plenty of speed and athleticism with the height to match, beats Paulson Adebo deep downfield. For Houston, they claim their first lead of this game. A terrific end and beginning to the half. Starting at the 27 will be the Giants needing a response. They go to the running game, and Cameron Scattaboo right up the hash, finally caught at about the 48-yard line. We haven't gotten to see too much from him in this one. Of course, all the special players the Houston Texans have on defense have done a terrific job trying to take him out of the game plan. Tracy's in here to give him a bit of a breather. And that's going to be Malik Johnson into enemy territory. Mark that actually down inside the 30. He's been a terrific rookie here for this offense and has allowed them to really dive deep into the 22 personnel. As Dart looks to scramble back here, he's not getting outside. He will throw that one away. The edge man here for the Houston Texans, keeping everything well contained. The 28-yard line here. Dart on the keeper. Gets a huge block from Runyon. First down, Jackson Dart. We got a little bit of some extracurriculars there with Ed Oliver at the end. Another red zone trip. This time Giants trying to get this game leveled back up. A little pump fake there. Throws out late. Neighbors has the touchdown. He pumped his way earlier in that play, still going to his number one receiver. And just like that, Giants have answered the Houston Texans score. And frankly, that's a play where you're lucky that your two edge men are not called for a roughing the passer. But it does tie us up here 17-17 as Nico Collins heads back out onto that field. 7 targets, 5 catches, a touchdown, and over 100 yards. He and Mixon have been this Houston Texans offense. They start with Mixon, tripped up there by Bobby Okereke. And will at least slow him down in time for Sanders to come clean it up. A gain of 7 for Mixon to start off this drive. Going back his way, he cuts back underneath, and he's going to have about another gain of 7. This is a game where, frankly, we need to see more from the interior of this defensive line. Haven't called Alexander or Dexter Lawrence's name yet. Pass out to Goodrich. He's got about another gain of 5. Playing the Houston Texans, not a team you want to sit too far off in coverage with that quick passing game. You got to sit closer to the line. We'll see if Coach makes any adjustments for that, as Mixon is denied. They'll leave Houston needing 4 yards here on a 3rd down. They stick with a spread look, bunch over the left-hand side, Schultz to the right. Plenty of time to throw over the middle. Nico Collins breaks away. Newbin went for the punch out and forgot the most important thing. Tackle the guy. Nico Collins puts the Texans back in front. When a game that started almost entirely as a defensive battle has shifted to a offensive showdown. 24-17 Giants back on the field starting at the 20. Cameron Scattaboo averaging just under 6 yards a carry, and that's not going to help out the average. Losing 3. Jair and company taking him down, though. Scattaboo put up a good fight there. He's going to be towards the line here on the 2nd and 13. An empty set. Pass over the middle. That's going to be Malik Neighbors on the spinning grab, putting the wheels to good use. They will not catch Malik Neighbors. Now you got a battle between the 2 top receivers of these teams. 2 touchdowns, Nico Collins. Now 2 touchdowns, Malik Neighbors. Though a much longer one here, as the entire center of that field was vacated. And when he put that into the final gear, there was no catching him. And well, you love to see how quickly the offense is answering. That drive only taking about 40 seconds. You would love to see your defense pick up some stops here. Give you an opportunity to take the lead. Mixon almost breaking away there. Alexander, though, does finally bring him down, and it does look like Mixon a bit shaken up after that play with all the spinning around trying to break those tackles. Makes his way over to the bench. Marks will fill in for him here. We'll see how much that affects this offense as they just dial it in to Nico Collins. He picks up the short gain on the drag, and a 3rd and 7 awaits. As the safety blitz comes late, passes to the flat and too short for Goodrich. That's a stop, courtesy of the offense. If you're Coach Bearington, you're not going to complain about that. Stop is a stop. And he'll send out his offense at the 37 in a tie ball game, 24-24. The line did not get to Al Shire. Good news is Cameron Scattaboo popped off of him, picks up a good gain there, 1st down. Now you have some things to work with here on 2nd and 4. like some play action. Rolling outside and swatted Al Shire. He's having a phenomenal performance out there for the Houston Texans. Trying to get that win, and Oliver should have been called on that one. Good coverage here, and Dart will not escape. A loss of a couple, a 4th and 6 at the 41. That sack belonging to Daniil Hunter. Yet another sack on the day. The offense stays out there, heavy set, and this time it will be the free play. So chucking this one downfield, it will not drop into peak, but you will pick up the free 5. Still leaving a 4th and about 1. For Coach Bearington, this is one to think about here. It looks like he sticks with what we all expected. Offense on the field, split backfield, handing this one off, spinning forward, first down by Tracy. Not by much. Looked like they were trying to set up perhaps a triple option there. Just didn't quite hit. Do look to go. Swinging out here to Tracy, and he's going to lose 2 on that catch. Not too sure Al Shire would have given him much space to work with anyway. That would have been better if dropped. As we're closing on what could be the final play here. Not going to get anywhere with Fedoni standing in the way. Scattaboo picks up about 1. And we look to send the Super Bowl to the 4th quarter. We've got just about 9 minutes to work with here to find a winner in Atlanta, Georgia, hosting this year's Super Bowl between the Houston Texans and the New York Giants. And they've got it all tied up here, 24-24. Which team is going to break through? As we look to get the 4th quarter officially underway, it is a 3rd and 11. Back to that split backfield, looking to set up the screen. Blockers in front. Cameron Scattaboo will convert. Massive play there for the New York Giants. For the 1st and 10 at the 37. Their offensive drive still alive here. Little pump fake outside, and then over the middle, that is Neighbors. 113 yards for him on the game so far, and he's just going to look to add on more. Already 2 touchdowns. We'll take another one from whoever can provide. Tracy, the running back here, as he will have the first down falling forward. He was able to keep his feet. We will probably look at a touchdown there. But a 1st and 10 of the 14 here. Now you got a strong eye right-hand side of the field. So Theo Johnson's going to turn that into a weak eye. Dart throws this one to the flat and broken up. Not a man we have to say whose name it was. We've all seen 0 flying around this field. Cameron Scattaboo to the outside. He's got a few. The Giants do have a 3rd and long to work with then. Needing 7. They're at the 12. Bunch right-hand side for Dart, who tries that hard count. No one offers. Scattaboo with a short motion left-hand side. Dart feeling uncomfortable, rolls and throws that one into the turf. You understand why he doesn't feel comfortable in that pocket. He's gotten hit time after time. So Graham Gano, he comes on out right hash and pokes this one down the middle. That will be a New York Giants lead, 27-24 here in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl. Now that is definitely not the most comfortable lead to be working with here, but you take whatever you can get at this point. Stroud doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to flip it. He's going to send 2 receivers to the left, plus Schultz. Looking to go back to the air, passes over the middle, finding Dell close, but does not have the first down. Instead, he has about 9, maybe a little bit extra of that 9. They do mark it 2nd and 1. Now Mixon has returned to this game, facing the pressure and a little bit of jawing down the field. No penalty comes in on that throw. Was intended for Nico Collins. Paulson Adebo was on coverage. The 3rd and 1. Heavy set. Stroud sneaks it forward. Not much of an effort there from the nose tackles to get a good push. So 1st and 10 at the 32. Motion over to the right and then back over to the left. That'll look to get Mixon on the outside, but played well. Deontay Banks. He forced Mixon to cut back inside. Cutback is what he's always been known for, but that time, Banks stuck with him. So 2nd and 10 as Mixon gets a bit of a breather. It's going to be trips to the right-hand side. Marks has checked in. Passes floated, and that one's going to be picked off by Holland. Giants ball up by 3 and taking over at the 41. This time a review cannot save the Houston Texans. 100%. This is Giants ball. Their second turnover of the game. As we start plus side. Play action of our own and getting away from Jason Blair. Open downfield, but Dart can't step into it. Once again, Anderson in his face. And he had Neighbors completely alone on the right sideline. So 2nd and 10. Handing this one off down the middle is Scattaboo. Will be a gain of about 3 there for the Giants. Once again, a 3rd and 7. They've dealt with a lot of 3rd and 7s here. And Scattaboo's going to motion out. Don't see this a whole lot from this offense, so something new here. And once again, under pressure, down goes Dart. Anderson with the 7th sack of the game here for the Houston Texans. So punting that ball away then, this game stays just a field goal to tie. Houston Texans starting at the 12, and it's Marks down the middle. He's got a few. Now coming into this game, I don't think anyone expected that the Giants would be without a sack so far. Meanwhile, Houston has had no problem getting their own sacks. And finding Nico Collins yet again, breaking away. Drew Phillips will not have the speed to catch up. Nico Collins with a 3rd touchdown on the day. Flip the number on his chest and back around. That's how many points he has. And that drive very much reflecting the Giants' own 2-play drive earlier in this game. And the Houston Texans take the lead, booting this one off. Setting back to return is Ben Vallejo inside the 10. He breaks to the left-hand side. He's got a bit of a gap with some speed. He's by the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, and that's gonna be a kick 6, Ben Vallejo. Shout out Stanford Cardinal. He's been with Coach Bearington for now 6 years and just made arguably his biggest play under the coach. We've already shouted out several of Coach Bearington's players, both in this game and around the league today. What a showing and the legacy of Coach Bearington. Well, frankly, Nico Collins is building his own legacy here. Over 250 on the day, and we still got 2:38 to play in this one, so we are still far away from the end here. Texans do change up their look and go with a trip set out to the right-hand side. Finally throws outside, and he will hook up with Schultz, though not going to get far. Had plenty of space. Just didn't play the sideline well. Goes as a gain of 3 on play 1. Both teams have all of their timeouts. 68 yards away from the end zone and passes back to Schultz, breaking one but not getting away. Now those two would have been college teammates, Bobby Okereke and Dalton Schultz. In fact, I think he'd even put in Paulson Adebo onto that same team. A lot of Stanford Cardinal out on that field and around the league despite the lack of success they've had real life of late. But a 1st and 10 following that 2-minute break here. In Atlanta, Georgia, we are close to defining a Super Bowl winner. Right now, Coach Bearington needs something from his defense. They've forced 2 turnovers today, though. Stroud and this Texans offense, they've been impressive. And play action here. It will get to the flat. Marks breaks one, but will not get by the 2 linebackers flowing over the top. 3rd and 1. Back to the line here. They do spread wide. Pass is underneath. Dalton Schultz, 1st down, spinning around to the 45. Houston calls their timeout there. 2 more remaining for them. Giants with 3 of their own. And Stroud to the flat. Out of bounds is Dell. A gain of 4 with that quick grab. 1:11 to work with here. Sanders trying to get the crowd hyped up here where the Houston Texans just can't hear Stroud, but they keep running the same play, so I'm not sure how much of an effect it is. But they are short of the 1st down. Looking to get back to it here. Setting up the play. Bringing that blitz and quickly thrown to the flat. Dell is chopped down, but he does get out of bounds. That clock does stop. Defense. They can allow a field goal that would tie this game. They do not want to give up a touchdown. And there will be motion here. To the outside is Marks. Throws back on the inside. That is Nico on one of his shortest plays of the game. Everyone on the edge of their seat here as another timeout comes in. This one is coming down to the wire. To the flat, Marks around the line to gain. He will have it. First down for Houston. Giants just by the edge of their fingernails trying to hold on to this lead. And they do once again go out to the flat. Schultz taken down quickly. There are no more timeouts available here for the Houston Texans. This play could potentially be the last if tackled inbounds. Stroud throws and taken down. Dell at the 3. Houston's going to try to get back to the line as quickly as possible, looking to clock it. Schultz gets there too late, and the New York Giants by just about 2.5 yards hold on to their 3-point lead, and they will take back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Coach Barry Bearington, what a legacy he is building here. Won 3 national championships in a row. Gets hired onto the Giants, and in season 1, in a surprising manner, takes them to the Super Bowl. In season 2, there were some hiccups here and there, but he put forth a terrific run game, breaking New York records, NFL records. And at the end, his defense, by the skin of their teeth, just keep the Houston Texans out of the end zone. It was risky for Houston to not go for that field goal late, ensure the tie, send this to overtime. They stayed aggressive, looking for their first ever Super Bowl win, and they come up about 2.5 yards short. Well, what a photo finish. What a season this was, but what does that leave in store here for this series? Coach Bearington is already 7th here in head coaches in terms of their legacy points. Still a far cry from John Madden here with the 20K. Still doesn't have as many Super Bowls as Reed, nor championships, but what a showing we have seen from Coach Bearington. Well, the one thing I can tell you is we are not done here yet. We will at least have one more season. And I will be taking all of your guys' input. Let me know right now in the comments below, how much longer do you want to see this series go? One more year? Try to get that three-peat? How much further? Let me know down below. Also, be keeping an eye on the community tab or the post tab, whatever it is they call it now here on YouTube, for polls, as I will definitely be putting out a poll. But what is next here for us in this Giants series is an off season. That will be live streamed on Thursday. To make sure you do not miss it, hit the bear icon in the bottom right. If that's not there for you, scroll down, hit the sub button below. They're both the same thing. Whatever is easier for you, and it's completely free to do so. You could also hit that bell icon. That is down below, and that makes sure you are notified of when I do anything here on YouTube in terms of posting something, whether that's video, short, community post, any of that. So make sure you tap that bell icon so you get notified of when everything's happening. That'll make sure you are here for Thursday's live stream where we are going to build this team, fill in some gaps, try to improve some weaknesses. Because yes, there are still some weaknesses after winning 2 straight Super Bowls. And we're going to get an update on a lot of players that were from Stanford, drafted into this series that we have not gotten to see yet. There's a whole lot to look forward to. Leave the boys a big old thumbs up. Back-to-back Super Bowls, and that was an exciting game and very fitting to a season that had a lot of very close games. But we'll wrap things out here. Make sure you are here for tomorrow as well with Kent State. They have some questions that need to be answered.